Slayer albums rank worst to first. The legendary thrash metal band Slayer has had some killer albums over the years. I put them through a series of tests so you don't have to. What's clearly the worst is Diabolus and Musica. When Kerry King from Slayer admits that this is their worst, how can you choose anything else? This album has absolutely nothing on it for me. But it still is Slayer. The next to worst album is World Painted Blood Red. While it's not necessarily a complete bad album, it's just very bland, and it definitely strayed from the roots of the thrash metal legends that you're used to hearing. There's very little risks taken on this album, and there's very little payoffs as well. Well, what I have on lower on my list than most people is the Christ Illusion. While Dave Lombardo returns behind the kit, it's the riffs that are lacking on this album. The guitar work is very complacent, and it just sounds like Slayer just showed up at the office and went through the motions to me. It also appeared that they were trying to deviate from their roots, seeking more of a commercial success. However, in my opinion, they strayed way too far from their roots. Next up's Divine Intervention, which I'm kind of impartial to as it came out in 1994 when I'm just getting into my thrash metal roots. The song Killing Fields alone elevates it higher than most Slayer albums, just as that's my childhood favorite song. Next up is the latest album, Repentless. While this is the only Slayer album in their catalog to feature the riff master Gary Holt on guitar, he clearly injected vigor with his new riffs, breathing fresh life into Slayer. And while I thought Slayer was going back to their original form, it still doesn't surpass any of the releases from the 80s or early 90s. In the album that just turns 40 this year, Slayer Show No Mercy. Their debut album shows exactly what Brian Slagel from Metal Blade Records saw in them when he hired them, as they were performing, covering Iron Maiden songs. The twin guitar attack over Dave Lombardo's monstrous drumming lends itself closer to punk rock in early Maiden than it would to thrash metal and death metal that they would lead to spawn. This is one of the few Slayer albums that show the wide range between Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King's guitar work, having more of a melodic approach in 1983. The follow-up to Show No Mercy took it one step higher with Hell Awaits. I really like the rougher production and the increased speed, while Dave Lombardo just beats the absolute shit out of the drums. The technicality of the guitar work really stepped up too and was landmark at the time. Definitely no sophomore slump here in 1985. The last album before we crest into the top three is God Hates Us All. While it kicks off with the iconic song Disciple, it sets the tone for what I believe to be a better album than most who listen to it. I really like the tone of the guitars. Now for the top three. At number 3 I have South of Heaven. I really like how Slayer slowed down following the Raining Blood album and almost crawls to an eerie, brooding torment. The slower churning rhythms in Tom Arraya's brooding vocals takes you down a trip to Satan's memory lane. Number 2 is 1990's Seasons in the Abyss. It kicks off at light speed with the track War Ensemble, and what a roller coaster of a ride does it take you on. With half of the tracks on the album listed as arguably Slayer's best work, and having my favorite song on it, Dead Skin Mask, it had to be number 2. It only fell short for one album, and that would be their 1986 effort, Raining Blood. With tracks of Postmortem, Angel of Death, Raining Blood, this is what thrash metal is. They set the gold standard, and I don't think anybody has met it yet. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to destroy the like and subscribe button, and let me know what ones I got wrong.